Hey, sixth grade. Today we are going to get started with learning about inequalities. We have one learning goal and just one vocabulary word. Make sure you get all of this in your notes. So, our learning goal for this video is I will graph inequalities on a number line. Not too tricky, right? Your vocabulary word is inequality. Where did I just get lost in my notes? Oh, yes. An inequality is a mathematical sentence using symbols such as... Now I need to get my little pen running again. Oh, goodness. All right. And we'll be using symbols such as less than, greater than, less than, or equal to, greater than, or equal to, or, final one is not equal. Okay? So make sure you get all of that in your notes. I'm going to give you a quick example for each one. Please get these in your notes just so you have it to look back on. So if we're going to do less than, let's say we'd have 3 and then the less than sign 5, because we all know that 3 is less than 5. I used to teach my first graders to imagine the open mouth being like a big crocodile mouth and it wants to eat the bigger number. I mean, if you could choose between 3 pieces of candy and 5 pieces of candy, you know your little mouths would open up and munch down those 5 pieces of candy. So, 3 is less than 5. But then, if we want to use our greater than symbol, we could say 5 is greater than 3. Less than or equals to, we could say 3 is less than or equal to 5. And then our greater than and equals to symbol, we'd have 5 is greater than or equal to 3. And then finally, not equals to, which is where we have this little symbol come into play, we could say 3 is not equal to 5, or 5 is not equal to 3. Okay, so let's do a few of these together. We're going to write the inequality, oh my goodness, and we're going to do a couple writing them in word form. So, if we were going to say 7 is less than or equal to 23, it would look like this. 7 is less than or equal to 23. Not too tricky. What about 5 3/4? Somehow we're going to compare that to 4 2/3. Well, we know that 5 3/4 is definitely greater than 4 2/3. What about 7.8 compared to 23.7? Well, those are definitely not equal to one another. Here we'll do one more. All right. 8 1/3 is less than or equal to 8.7. All right, so in your notes, I want you guys to fill in the blanks on a couple of these. Actually, I have 4 of them. So you're going to fill in the blanks in your notes. So you're going to have 12 is something compared to 1.201. The next one is 4.2 compared to 4 1/4. That one will be a little tricky, so watch out. And then 10.25. Okay. And how that compares to 10 1/5. And then the last one, you're going to compare 12 to 2. Okay, next we're going to move on to graphing inequalities on number lines. Make sure, goodness, I'm tired. Make sure you get this in your notes. The solution to an inequality can be represented on a number line by an array whose starting point is an open or closed circle. So the solution to an inequality can be represented on a number line by an array whose starting point is an open or closed circle. So remember to hit pause. The closed circle means that the starting point is part of the solution. So when equals to is a part of the inequality, then you're, okay, so anyway, when equals to is part of the inequality, you will use a closed circle. So greater than or equals to, less than or equals to, an open circle, that means that the starting point is not part of the solution set. All right, so that means that when the circle is open, you just have your inequalities of greater than or less than. No equals to is a part of it. So let's try some of these together. So let's say I give you guys x is less than or greater to 15. So I would draw a number line that looks like this, and in the middle, let's say 15's right here. 14, 13, 12, 11. All right. Since equal to is a part of the solution set, it means that it's very possible that 15 could actually be x. So we fill in the circle and we draw the ray down in the direction of the numbers getting smaller, because x is equal to 15 or it's less than 15. So we could go either way on that. All right, how about this next one? X is greater than 16.5. So we're going to put an open circle approximately where the 16.5 would go. And then, since there's not an equals to as a part of our inequality up here, we're going to leave our circle empty. Since x is greater than 16.5, we have to, kind of darken the number line and have our ray continue in the direction the numbers get larger. All right, let's try this one. X is not equal to 23. This one is a little goofy. So we're going to put our circle around the 23 and we're going to leave it open. We're not going to fill that in. And since the X is not equal to 23, we shade in the number line in both directions because all we know is that it's not equal to 23. We have no idea if it's greater than or less than 23, so we have to darken that number line going both directions. So now 6th grade, I'm going to give you guys several examples to get in your notes. And make sure that you draw a separate number line for each one. I'll see you in just a minute. So here we go. Oh yeah, and if you didn't hear me say draw a separate number line for each one, make sure you do that. So here we have x is less than or equal to 14. The next one is x is less than 55. Next up, you have 2.5 is less than or equal to x. Hey, bub, I'll be with you in just a minute. This is for school. 2 more. We have x is greater than 3.3. And your last one, x is not equal to, whoops, x is, darn it, x is not equal to 4.2. All right, make sure you draw 5 separate number lines and that you get all of these done in your notes, and I'll see y'all in class.